Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Dr. Claudia Albers, Planet X research and professional physicist. And today I'd like to bring to you another one of my articles. This one is entitled Sun Simulated Technologies Based on Lasers and the Sun is No Longer Shining Discovery. Now, in article 464 entitled Sun Simulated Disclosure, they knew the sun was dying in 1961. I showed that sun simulators using reflectors and arc lamps have been used to disclose that the powers that be already knew in 1961 that the sun was dying and that sun simulators would be necessary. But the simulators we have in our skies now use laser technology, and you can see that from these photographs. You can see the sun simulator, and there's a green laser beam coming from it, and there's a pink laser beam going through the sun simulator. Of course, we know it's not the sun because it's white, and it's not perfectly circular as the real sun would be. And you may look at article 214 for more details. Now, in that particular article, I examine images of the sky where a shadow of a chemtrail could be seen on the cloud above it, and you can actually see it here. So this is the chemtrail making a shadow on cloud above it. And that means that the sky has to be illuminated from below, or the atmosphere is being illuminated from within. And when I saw that, I then stated in that particular article that this meant that the sun was much weaker than SDO data indicated. And I wrote that article in April of this year. But this was not the first time that I saw a photograph of clouds with a shadow of chemtrails on that cloud, indicating that the atmosphere was being illuminated from within. And here's another one of these photographs where we can see a shadow there of this chemtrail. And that means that the illumination is also coming from below the chemtrail. So from inside the atmosphere, here's a close-up of that. You can clearly see there's a shadow there on that cloud. Now, there is only one reason why the atmosphere would be illuminated from within, and that is that the real sun is not illuminating it sufficiently from outside. But it turned out to be much worse than that. In other words, it's not that it's not sufficient. It had already gone completely dark. And that's what I started thinking after the sky went dark for 3 hours in the middle of the day in July in northern Russia, which could only have been caused by Planet X dust entering the atmosphere and causing the sun simulation for the region to malfunction. So at that time I started thinking that the sun may have already gone dark. Now, if the sun simulation devices malfunction, then it should be possible to see the real sun, but there had been no real sun behind the sun simulation. Then I came across the simulation that the information that the sky had suddenly gone completely dark in Argentina in 2011, which suggested that the sun had already gone completely dark by 2011. And here's the screenshot from the TV presentation about this, or report about this, and this happened on August 12, 2011, and the sky in the middle of the day suddenly went completely dark. And that could only be that the artificial illumination over that part of the world, Argentina, suddenly failed. And the suddenness of it shows that it must be an artificial illumination, because anything that causes darkness could cause darkness on the surface of the earth would cause that darkness to come gradually, such as an eclipse. So for more details, you may look at article 382 entitled The Sun is No Longer Shining, Surface Observations. Since it seems that they knew about the problem by 1961, and since the large-scale chemtrail program started in 1998, it is very possible that the sun may have gone completely dark by 1998. It is then also possible that long before 1998 it was turning off for certain periods of time, and that they may have had several ways of boosting lighting in the atmosphere when that happened, which means that laser-based sun simulators have now been in use for a very long time. Notice that it makes no sense to spend the huge amount of resources to deploy such a system, which must have thousands to tens of thousands of devices within the atmosphere, when the real sun is still shining. Many people believe that the system is there to hide the objects that have been in the sun's corona and have been seen in these solar observing spacecraft images. However, these objects have been coming to the sun for thousands of years. How come we did not notice them then? We did not, because the brightness of the sun hid them from us. It thus makes no sense to block out the sun's brightness in order to hide the objects. In addition, there is the possibility that the reason why the sky is now so dark right overhead is only because the Earth is losing atmosphere and encroaching Planet X objects and debris, especially dust, are stopping the artificial light emission above a certain altitude. But in the beginning of the deployment of the artificial system, it was not so. This means that the sun could have gone dark many years ago without anyone having noticed until recently, when the increased amount of Planet X dust started causing sun simulation malfunction. And there are more objects and debris debris coming to the Earth precisely because the sun is no longer able to attract them as it once did. So it could be that for a few years there wasn't as much, and the sun simulation was working very well and no one noticed. And it's only recently, when the numbers increased, that this started to be noticed. And that is for an observer on the surface of the Earth, whether the sun is in the midday position or close to sunset, there is a dark patch right overhead. And this can be explained by the observer when looking straight up, looking through a portion of the atmosphere that's not as thick as when that observer looks horizontally at the horizon. Then this is a much thicker layer of atmosphere, and because it's being illuminated from within, the observer is looking through a large portion of illuminated atmosphere, and so the darkness beyond it or outside it is not as apparent. So, and you may look at Article 403 entitled Earth Losing Atmosphere Due to Planet X Related Gravitational Diffraction, in which I explain how over the years the Planet X system stellar cores would withdraw a lot of the Earth's atmosphere and make it a lot thinner than it once was. So in conclusion, sun simulators are in operation in the Earth's atmosphere and have most likely been in operation for a very long time. They are emitting light within the atmosphere because the sun is not illuminating the atmosphere. These devices are a replacement for the real sun because the real sun is not shining and has most likely not been shining for many years now. And those are the references. This is Dr. Claudia Albers, Planet X physicist. Thank you for watching.